Hi-yo! This is the second video on the 5D process using algebra. So we're setting up word problems, trying to find a variable and solving them from there. Here is just the 5D process. Again, I'm not going to go through all of these because I shared those on my first video, but just as a reminder, you have your 5Ds that are all listed right here. All right, Miss Pacheco and Mr. Edwards and Mr. Richards are three math teachers at Turner Middle School. Miss Pacheco is 3 years older than Mr. Richards. Mr. Edwards is twice as old as Mr. Richards, and the sum of Mr. Richards' age and Mr. Edwards' age is 81. How old is each person? All right, so we have Pacheco is 3 years older than Richards. Mr. Edwards is twice as old as Richards. Richards and Edwards their age together has to equal 81. Okay, and then we just want to know how old is each. Okay, so there's my describe and my draw. In the define, I'm going to start with Mr. Richards, Ms. Pacheco, and Edwards. So there are my names, so I'm going to come up with, and then Mr. Richards is our common person that's kind of here, so Mr. Richards is going to become my X value. Ms. Pacheco is 3 years older, so that would be X plus 3. And Mr. Edwards is twice as old as Mr. Richards, so that would be 2x. Okay? Now, here's the key on this one, is it's saying Mr. Richards and Mr. Edwards' age together added up is going to be 81. So that's going to be x plus 2x is going to equal 81. So if I combine my x values, I end up with 3x is equal to 81. Divide both sides by 3. So then I'm left with x is equal to 27. So Mr. Richards is 27, Ms. Pacheco is 30, and Mr. Edwards is going to be 54. Okay, so Mr. Richards is 27. Ms. Pacheco is 30 years old. And Mr. Edwards is 54 years old. All right, so we've answered our question there. Ramon was studying pond life in Doyle Park. In 2 hours, he counted 4 more frogs than turtles. The number of crayfish he counted was 3 more than twice the number of turtles. In total, he counted 54 turtles and crayfish. How many frogs were there? Okay, so we are looking at here. He counted 4 more frogs than turtles. And the number of crayfish he counted was 3 more than twice the number of turtles. Okay, so 4 more frogs than turtles. Crayfish was 3 more than twice turtles. turtles and crayfish equals 54. And our question is, how many frogs? Okay. All right, so I have turtles, I have frogs, and I have crayfish. So my turtles is going to be X because I have that kind of repeated twice. The number of frogs I have is 4 more than, so X plus 4. And the number of crayfish that I have is 3 more than, twice the amount of turtles. So 2X plus 3, because it's 3 more than. All right, so now, again, like the previous problem, we're looking at turtles and crayfish. So turtles and crayfish, so that's going to be X plus 2X plus 3. And that's going to be equal to 54. So now I want to just balance out my equation. So if I combine my like terms, that's going to give me 3x plus 3 is equal to 54. Now to get my positive 3, my 3 positives to zero out, I add 3 negatives to both sides. So remember, to balance it out, we add the same amount to both sides. So then I'm left with 3x is going to equal 51. So now I'll just think of it as 51 ones that I'm going to split into equal groups, 3 equal groups, and there'll be 17 in each group. So my number of turtles will be 17. My number of frogs, 17 plus 4, would take me to 21. And my number of crayfish is going to be 2 times 17, which is 34, plus 3, which is 37. But now when I circle back to my question here, it says how many frogs? Why don't I do this correctly? Ramon saw 21 frogs. There is my declare that's answering the question. Here's our last question for today. Dawn is trying to find the dimensions of a parallelogram. She knows that the base is 1 unit less than twice the height of the shape. The area is 91 square units. How long are the base and the height? All right, so on this one, I'm going to just make my picture of a parallelogram. And then there's my height. So perpendicular. All right, so we have our height is X because that's going to be the shorter side. And then it says the base is twice the height, but it's 1 unit less. So 2X minus 1. Okay? And our area is going to be equal to 91 units squared. Remember, when we're trying to find the area of a parallelogram, it is base times height. All right, so we're looking for what is the base and height. Okay, so in the define my base and my height. Actually, I'm going to switch that around, my height and my base. So my height is X, my base is 2X minus 1. Okay? In the do, it is X times 2X minus 1, and that needs to be equal to 91. All right, so now to solve this is a little bit more difficult because we don't come out very nicely here. So if I distribute this into everything, I get 2x squared minus x is equal to 91. Okay, so now when I have that x squared, it just makes it a little bit more yucky to try and solve. So I'm going to kind of go with the guess and check method, or some of you might say, well, why don't we just find the factors of 91? Okay, so and my factors of 91 are 1 and 91. It's not even, so that eliminates any even number going into them. So then we're just left with odd numbers to look at. So looking at our odd numbers, 3, 9 plus 1 is 10, not divisible by 3. 5, doesn't end in a 5 or a 0. 7, 91 divided by 7, if I type that in on my calculator, it gets me 13. 9, 3 doesn't go into it, 9's not going to go into it. 11, the closest would be 88 or 99. And then 13, so we've already hit 13. So our factors are 1, 7, 13, and 91. So in looking at that, realistically, the only possibility that we have are 7 and 13. So let's look to see if that holds true. So if I have 7, 2 times 7 is going to give me 14 minus 1, that's going to give me 13. And so that works out. Again, I could have done the just guess and check method to find it, to see if it equals 91. Or I could just find my factors here. So my height is 7 units. And the base is 13 units. Okay, so there is your answer for that. Hopefully that helps. I would like to show you my pet unicorn that has been hanging out with me the entire time through this video and has been giving me the power to solve these problems and get through them for you. Have a good day.